Hello everyone, it's Tuesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Morayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have everybody here. Happy Independence Day.
Happy Independence Day.
White K, I love your makeup.
Good morning.
You're really compliant.
Very.
I'm a proud Nigerian.
You have been proud since last week.
Even if Nigeria is not good, I should still be proud, Abi.
Yes.
Even if we have not got ourselves, if we have not got ourselves in Nigeria, I have got myself.
You have got yourself, so you are
self.
good.
You look very nice.
Why can't I be compliant since last week? I'm loving you,
I'm
head
a proud
to toe.
Nigerian.
It's good to know.
Thank you very much.
Any message for us today, Nigeria 59?
Well, I saw Showore yesterday and I felt really bad.
Yeah.
I think that this government really is a bit too harsh on people who talk about the injustice, social injustices in Nigeria.
Thank you, Ike, for bringing that up, because that's one of the reasons why I did not wear white today, because I was protesting the fact that we can't be here well, our colleague, yes, there are different reasons that he's been arraigned, but the point is that I think they are being too harsh, and we feel that it's wrong for them. They could just make a matter of this man.
Is it a matter of being harsh? It's about abuse of rule of law. I think we should just take it from there.
Yeah, but
so it doesn't matter how harsh or soft the law is. The law is
let me rephrase that.
Yeah.
What my anger is the fact that we're not obeying court orders. He's met his bail conditions,
terms,
and now he's still being arraigned, which is wrong.
Yes.
So that in itself, and the fact that other journalists are being picked up. Somebody was recently picked up, I think it's a couple of days ago.
And do you know the reason he was picked up? Because he was wearing proudly Biafran.
We are all Biafran. He was promoting
We
his book.
are all Biafran. And he was promoting his book. And they said, no, because they didn't want him to be lynched on the way from the airport. Excuse me?
Yeah, for a civilian government.
How do you know he was wearing the
for a
t-shirt?
civilian government,
do you
we
have
have no
spies on the
tolerance
plane?
for freedom.
Right.
For a civilian government, the society doesn't seem to tolerate that freedom.
And sometimes it's almost as if we're
yourself.
being overzealous, because I really doubt if the president is actually instructing them to go around picking people up for the fact that you're wearing we're all Biafrans on your t-shirt. But anyway, let me come to Nima, because you're looking very nice and elegant today.
Very, very
Happy Independence. In
I'm
fact,
going to my
now you
room,
do Independence Day.
You'll just see my wrapper. It's double wrapper. Yes, so that's how we dress in Auchi.
Okay.
And now FMI Day is coming up, so I'm practicing what I'll wear.
Nice.
The event already.
But do you put the gele on top of the hijab? Or how is it done?
The gele is on. It's blended in the hijab. Regina. Hey.
Regina.
So you look like Ayo right now.
No. That's how they do bride. Muslim brides don't want to show their neck. The ones that don't want to show their neck, they cover their neck first and they now tie
I would
the
have sworn
gele
you're
on
a
it.
female Ayo. Festival.
That's what you taught me.
You look like
you're looking
I'm not
beautiful
even
like
close
this.
to you. You that you don't even know your identity. You are the one that you know it now. That you see my identity.
Okay, but you look beautiful.
My Independence Day look, so I won't be insulted.
They cover their faces.
I want to do She's looking for trouble, but you know that I have it.
But you look beautiful, I must say.
No, it's now. Thank you for thinking. I think I look beautiful.
Okay,
I'm reliving my wedding day.
Yeah.
Tokwe.
And it still sizes you, so.
Tokwe, how are you?
I'm good.
No,
so this is a last-minute joined together clothes. So this is Nima's shawl, and I threw it over my shoulder, so I'm green and white, trying to...
Actually, Tisma sent me an outfit to wear today. I was supposed to wear it today, but it came a bit late, and I already planned. I was protesting Chore's detainment and other journalists' detention. That's why I didn't want to wear anything white today. But regardless, I'm happy that you're wearing white.
But from Sunday, I realized that for every problem we have, they say a child is born. For every problem the country has, a child is born. And while I feel sometimes YK said that being in Nigeria is like a 7 independence, I feel that God has brought me to this country at this time, you know, to be a solution
of our time.
To be a solution, you know, and there's something that I can solve. I'm still looking for it. I know that I'm all about growth mindset, but I'm sure there's still something that I can do that would make this country better than how I met it. And that's what I think all of Nigerians should be looking for.
What has gotten worse while you've been alive?
YK, that's why I want to make it better.
I
have one. YK, you are older than me. And
I remember when I was born, I remember in my 20s, I remember in my 30s,
YK,
and now I'm in my 50s, and I'm like, hello?
I have to go on a break, but before I go, I must also remember that today marks the 14th year of my father's passing. He passed on October 1st, 2005, and I pray that his soul continue to rest in peace. That's Mr. Alao Akabashona.
Yes, so
I had to say that.
He died on October
1st, yeah. A true patriot he was. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll go through the front pages of the newspaper. Stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, today we're starting with punch. Independence Day speech, Buhari moves empower school, feeding others to new ministry. We share common goals with Nigeria, says Trump. Picture here of Showore. Court orders DSS to remand Showore till Friday. Infection hits Queen's College. Queen's College again. 1,000 leave school. The Ezani Cash ex-bank chief appeals 9 billion naira forfeiture order. Damage caused by Fato Imbo still haunts me. I need more time to settle with EFCC, says INE. Police foil theft of Okorocha's property sealed by EFCC. And Knox as Boratai 6 prayers to defeat Boko Haram. FG plans 4.6 trillion naira borrowings, debt to hit 30 trillion naira. And NYSC approves white shoulder length hijab for core members.
Yes.
South Africa approves commercial flights for Air Peace. Oh, I like the NYSC story. What's that about?
That's another
celebration
for the Hijab Rights Advocates Initiative and Mulan.
That's good.
We've gotten another.
Say the story
agency.
Properly.
So the NYSC, after a lot of appeals, have decided to give us a uniform that conforms with our faith and allow.
But are they allowed skirts? So they're still inside on pants.
Well, that's in negotiation.
That's still in negotiation. But you had
hijab. You can still improvise with baggy pants and.
In Queen's College, the children, there's an infection going on in the school. 1,000, according to the report, 1,000 children have left the school. And
well, the principal is saying it's not an epidemic. Like, they shouldn't blow it out of proportion. It's just the propaganda trying to blow it out of proportion. What happens is that the kids have been ill, and there's the usual cough, catarrh, fever that's going on, and they shouldn't.
But then he concluded that it's not unlikely that that they will not have. It's unlikely that they will not have anybody at all on their sick bed in their sick bay at some point, and that because it's a girls' school,
they were not.
They might have cases of menstrual pain and all those kind of things. Saying that of course they had some reported cases.
The PTA actually went to the sick bay.
Right.
They were not given access.
You see?
They were not given access to the sick bay.
But
someone managed to check, and there were over 40 girls in the sick bay. The place was overcrowded, and.
But again, I don't want to send.
Listen,
I don't want to send the wrong message out there because parents are obviously panicking. So they're trying to tell us that, listen, there's nothing to panic about. That somebody from the PTA also went to school and said, there's no alarm. Yes, the kids are ill and many parents are taking the kids.
Can we not have any cover up in a way that will not cause disaster?
That's what I'm trying to say.
Please don't cover up if you have an issue.
Try to cover up. The story says that there are allegations of waterborne infection, reported, some unreported cases, and some kids have been given sick exits to go back home.
But 1,000 kids is a lot.
Yes,
within 2 weeks of resumption, that's a lot of kids to go.
It was 95 when the PTA chairman, when there was 95, then suddenly it became 700, and it was like what's happening?
Moving on to The Nation, something worth looking at. Buhari, Nigeria will be stronger than ever before. Independence Day call for peace, unity dominates discourse. Showore arraigned on 7-count charge. Confusion as Bayelsa speaker is removed. South Africa grants Air Peace flights right to Johannesburg. And Rivers acquires Shell's 45% stake in OML 11. Okay, which story are we taking here?
So, the Bayelsa crisis. Yesterday there was sporadic gunshot in the air. They said thugs came into the Bayelsa State Assembly to steal the maize, and this is part of the ongoing crisis to change the speaker, who is currently a PDP member. And so, because they were trying to change the speaker, his name is Tonye Isena, and they want to bring in Monday Oblo, who is claimed to be. They brought him in already. So that's the battle that took place. There was gunshot. I feel really concerned when in the State Assembly that's supposed to protect and preserve the rights of the citizens is being pulled into politicking. When will they have time to fight for the citizens?
What happened was the police, the speaker went there, and when he realized they wanted to impeach him, he quickly closed plenary, and then the gunmen came in. Then they quickly put in the new speaker.
It happened in the national.
And then guess what?
No, not gunshot, Murayo.
The mace, I'm not about the mace.
The governor now congratulates the new speaker.
Oh, wow.
And it made me just think to myself, when will the governors stop being putting their mouth inside.
Yes, encroaching on what doesn't concern them. I have to take this story from The Nation because according to our president, Nigeria will be stronger, and they highlighted a few of their success stories. So let me do that, maybe to encourage some Nigerians. They say infrastructure received 1.7 trillion naira. There's 600 billion naira for roads and others. $300 million Abacha loose recovery was recovered. More boost for the economy coming soon. Big support for security agencies. Better living standard for Niger Delta. Corruption battle must be won. Power availability very soon. Total war against bunkering. Cyber crimes to be curtailed. Is that encouraging you?
I don't understand.
Okay, let's move on. Let's move on.
Please move on.
I was thinking that I would get some.
Yeah,
something. Moving on to Daily Sun. All right, Nigeria at 59. Buhari talks tough. Vows not to tolerate speeches that threaten national unity. Shooting as gunmen storm Bayelsa Assembly. We talked about that already. OML Rivers acquires Shell's 45% interest. Mob burns 3 suspected kidnappers to death in Abuja. Alarm as Queen's College students fall ill. And Showore arraigned, returned to DSS custody.
So the major headline, the president speaking says that the one that really touched me was that any free speech that would it will not allow free speech that threatens the peace of Nigeria. And that is a statement he's giving during the independence. So yeah, he's encouraging Nigerians that Nigeria will get better, things would improve, but that there will be no free speech allowed that he feels will threaten this country. And I rest my case.
Okay.
That is don't talk.
No, okay, no.
It is what?
All the rights under the Chapter 4 of our Constitution that guarantees fundamental human rights are in some ways qualified. So free speech, of course, when it crosses certain limits, becomes defamation, becomes libel, becomes slander.
All right.
And at those points, you know...
Let's move on very quickly to Vanguard. Nigeria needs leaders with integrity, says eminent Nigerians. CBN takes over National Theatre, begins 22 billion naira creative industry initiative. We must now go spiritual in battle against terrorism, says Buratai.
Hi.
Rivers government acquires OML 11 from SPDC. We can only deliver if Nigeria is united. And Showore co-defendant docked, remanded in custody. All right. Let's start with Buratai.
Okay. So the Army Chief of Staff, Buratai, was addressing at the independence events, talking about how the issues of Boko Haram have become spiritual. We need to go into spiritual warfare with Boko Haram to combat it.
That's not what he said.
What did he say?
What he said is that the ideology of Boko Haram is something that happened, that was built into them. So only spiritual leaders or spiritual approach can be the one to change the ideology. If you change the ideology, you can then defeat Boko Haram. They're not saying
go and pray.
Is go and pray to defeat. They're saying that once the ideology changes, so it will be easier to have less converts to Boko Haram.
I agree that that's like the carrot and stick approach, that while we're still trying to defeat them, we're also spreading information. You see, you don't defeat the spiritual side by just saying, oh, we'll use spirituality. It's that you provide people alternative information superior to what they've been sold, which is what we have on ground. Many people totally would die under the Boko Haram guys because they bought into that ideology. What are we doing to combat that?
Church, go and pray and ask God to help you.
No, wait, she just said that you did. You said
for the ideology, let's move on.
No, because when your chief of staff is telling you go spiritual, when your chief of staff is telling you go spiritual to defeat Boko Haram,
let him help him rephrase. What he probably meant is that the community should get involved in changing the ideology of the people, not just spiritually. Get everybody involved.
Right.
I'm not his spokesperson. Let me tell you one more story that touches my heart. CBN, actually. CBN is taking over the National Theatre, which is a great information for me because I feel that the creative industry needs this boost. And what they're doing is they're going to be building parks across the country, creative industry parks. I think about 4 or 5 different states across the country. And they're it's required because the only way the entertainment industry can grow is if we have enough cinemas.
Right.
So people who produce.
Nima just said, Ambode did it under the last administration.
Yeah, with they're working on top. But the report is saying that they're going to build about 50 more cinemas, and they're going to actually engage 800,000 youth at some point. Yes.
If you're hungry, how will you act?
YK, we have to invest in the economy at some point so that you can get the money.
You will act hungry.
They have to go. Unfortunately,
they are killing us with their new if you deposit 500,000, you take 10,000.
On that note, we have to run up. Unfortunately, I'm told right now that TVC News would have to link up to a live special program. So we'd have to cut up from there, but we'll be on the local station, which is the TVC Entertainment on GoTV and Star Times. So you can still join us on those stations. All right, let's go on a break. When we come back, we discuss Nigeria and all. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So Nigerians are complaining about the high rate of corruption within the police force. This is becoming worrisome as innocent ones are allegedly being used to fund some of these officers and stations. Can this be as a result of poorly paid police officers? What are your own thoughts? And have you ever experienced issues with the police? Please call us on 070-80668014. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. So a gentleman sent a mail, a write-up recently, and he was lamenting about the fact that he wanted to get his client out of prison, I believe, and the ordeal he went through on just trying to get somebody a bail. And that person spent 4 days in prison, in jail. And that 4 day, in fact, the man lamented that what was more painful is the fact that there are many people there whose parents are clueless or have no idea
Where they are.
that they're actually behind bars, or they're in custody. And the fact that the police are consistently extorting money from them. Now, I'd like somebody to gradually just quickly summarize that person's report before we then discuss it. Who has that story?
Okay. Why? Okay.
It's you now.
Okay, Nima, do you have the story?
Okay. Not verbatim.
Yeah, but
let me just put it in a little way. Basically, what it's talking about is that, you know, what we see as the police force is the situation is something that we've created. When we look at their packages and the welfare government has provided, government is insincere as to exactly what they give them. Their pension, for instance, on that write-up, he talked extensively about the non-existence of certain benefits to the police force. In the course of duties where they lose their lives, there are no packages for them, no insurance, nothing for family members. And what we see on paper, even in that report, he also attached a deliberation in the Senate as regards some of their monies. And everything was not exactly clear. But what we read when we sit here, we assume that, you know, every police officer is corrupt. What they provide them, of course, is what encourages that corruption. And basically,
one of the areas I'd like us to touch on is the fact that I like Nigerians even calling to share their own experiences with us, because we've had DSP or CSP Badmus here several times, and she's tried to help us understand that there's a lot of work being done to help to revamp the police and to help to orientate the way they do the work, they carry their services. But at some point, we don't really see it happening. So some police seem to be reformed, others seem not to be getting with the program, and that's one of the frustrations Nigerians are having. Yes, YK?
You know, I like to look at things from both sides of the coin. And yes, the police, they can be your enemy because what they do. Sometimes what they do, you just look, are you a human being? Why are you doing this?
Deliberate.
You know, you make my life difficult. I have to go. But then you now look at the other side of the coin, and then you think about these police. These are people that are meant to protect you. They're not paid well. I know a police station is given 33,000 for 3 months to look after running costs to look after a police station. 33,000. How do you earn the money to run the police station? They are going to buy diesel. They are going to, because you don't have lights. 59 years, we still don't have lights.
General operational cost.
I went to this police station and they were showing me, oh, this was done by a citizen of Nigeria, not the government, a citizen. Help them tar their compound. repair their cars, fuel their cars. They don't have money to fuel their cars. When Ambode bought them cars, they didn't have money to fuel the cars. Nobody to repair the cars. Okay, these are the people that are meant to defend you, defend the ordinary citizen. Now, as opposed to what the military, the retirements the military gets.
The pension.
The pension. The police, there is no incentive.
So that's one
because a policeman dies. A policeman dies on active duty. His family, they are given minimum 3 months, maximum, sorry, to get out of their quarters. Nothing to
sustain the family afterwards.
Exactly. So every policeman is for himself.
I know, and I know one of the things the police are clamoring for is to ensure that they get the same kind of pensions that the military has and other security agencies. They're saying, according to them, their own pension is actually not as effective as the other operational security of operations. But what are your thoughts on this issue of police?
For me, our government cannot sincerely say they are fighting corruption and protecting the human lives by the kind of police officers we have. And what I'm saying is that we are insincere as a people and as a government when we say we want to protect the lives and property of citizens, or we want to fight corruption, but the apparatus for fighting corruption is underfunded. The apparatus for fighting corruption includes your police, it includes the judiciary, and those two people, those two departments, those two bodies are highly underfunded. So as a government, you are just paying lip service to fighting corruption and protecting your citizens. The average police officer looks hungry. When you see them on the street, I feel sympathy for them. Whenever they stop me, I greet them and I look at the name, I read it, and I'm like complimenting them because I understand that these people, they're just looking for their daily living. It's a hustle. They are hustling like every Nigerian.
Let me take this call from Moses. Are you there? Thanks for calling.
Okay. All right. My name is Moses. My landlord threw my load outside. That was last September, August 1st. I went to police station. I made my report. After making my report, the police, they came, they checked my environment, they checked everything. After checking everything, they went back to the station. They invited the woman. The woman came, and the woman pleaded that we should settle everything amicably. After we just gave him everything that I lose from my apartment. When we gave her, she checked. The next thing she did was she ran to police force, Obalende, and she made her own complaint from there. They had to call me down. I went there. They asked me for my statement. I wrote statement. They tried to, they intimidated me, tried to change my statement. They asked me to, who was with me in the house when my landlady came with military people and threw my load out. I told them my daughter was with me. After they said I should show them where my daughter lives, I took them to where my loads are. When I took them there, they checked my load, where I parked my load. They said I should take them to where my daughter is. I took them to where my daughter is living. They saw where my daughter is living. They asked me to show them where I'm living. I took them to where I'm sporting with a friend. After that, they asked me to come with my daughter to the station. I went to the station with my daughter. I wrote my own statement. My daughter wrote her statement. After my daughter wrote her statement, they tried, one of their guys tried to change my daughter's statement to what my daughter wrote to something else, of which my daughter had to decline, that she refused.
That's the problem.
That was not what she said. And the next thing they told us was, they asked the woman that the woman should bring the name of the soldiers. She brought to my apartment to throw my load out. After which they asked the woman said she's going to give them till date. And the people said we're going to get back to me. Till date, I've not heard from them. This is close to a month.
Right.
I've been squatting. My daughter, where my daughter is living is different from...
Thank you very much, Moses. I think we understood.
This is the corruption.
This is the symptoms of the problem. The problem is the police is underfunded. So the average policeman is watching, like every Nigerian, looking out for himself. So if I see 2 cases and one person is going to line my pocket with some naira notes, I would favor that person. So we don't have a neutral police. We don't have a neutral, sadly, judicial system as much as we should. We are having people where the VIPs get compensated for being VIPs, and they receive more love for being VIPs. They get more protection. They are more superior.
Leave his work to go and be guarding VIP. Is it not because that VIP is paying him money?
We must agree that Our institutions have, become decayed. And our leaders watched it go this way. I think almost deliberately watched it go this way. We don't have an independent police force. That's a fact. They do the job of whoever pays, whichever piper pays. The reason is because, of course, like Tokpe said, we deliberately underfunded the police force. If you look at the number of years between when the police reform started and when they started to leave, they created the Police Service Commission, to control the affairs of the police force. That break in between, when the military was in power and they deliberately just left that institution to sort of bring down the power or the enforcement power of that agency. And that's the result of what we have today. Yeah. Any government that is visionary will come in and say, this particular thing must stop, and deliberately create a long-term plan to stop it.
Malima, one of the things
we can't continue like this.
I've observed that anytime we have conversation with police, they tell us, oh, the reform is ongoing, there are some bad eggs here and here, understand? There are some bad eggs here and there, we're doing everything we can, but the reality is, yes, you might be doing that at the top, but on the streets, these men are totally frustrated.
I did not admit. I pay police. I admit here.
I don't pay.
I sometimes see them and they stop me and they're not stopping you for anything, but
they greet
can
you.
we get something for lunch? This is not happy weekend. Straight up, can I get something for lunch? Straight up, this is not a happy weekend. I have to pay.
Let me take. Yes, why can't?
I had a song. Police station don't turn to bank. IG na managing director. Police station don't turn to bank. DPO na bank manager. Listen to the words of that song, please.
Let me take this call. Thank you for calling. Boyega, I believe. Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
My name is Benga.
Benga, go ahead, please.
This is my first time calling.
Welcome to the show. Happy Independence Day.
Yeah. The truth of the matter is the police, can you hear me?
Yes.
The police is a reflection of the society.
Yes.
These are guys that didn't drop from heaven. So whatever happens in the society is what is happening to them. So just like what we discussed yesterday about senator giving out handouts to the youth and complaining that they are lazy youth. The same mentality that will make somebody to siphon billions is the same thing that will make somebody to say, no, I think I'm entitled to, to such billions. You understand? So these guys didn't drop from the moon. They are a reflection of the society.
I don't agree, though. I think that the police are a reflection of the lack of willingness of our politicians. The society, the average Nigerian wants to work. They want to earn a living. The reason the police is where it is now, the reason the average policeman on the street is just looking for what to eat per day is because the police fund, the government hasn't funded them. If they are well paid, we go to other countries, you see the police officers now, there is a way they carry themselves because they know their government has their back. In Nigeria, police officers don't, the government doesn't have our back.
Have you seen when a policeman dies on active duty in Europe or America, the kind of burial they will give him?
See, 3 policemen, YK, 3 policemen have died on duty, serving, and our president has not looked into the report that they submitted to him concerning how they died. There's been no official requirement like punishment for the people that killed those 3 policemen. And we are saying we care about police.
Was saying, and what the other caller was saying, if you look at the stories well, you understand that it's us, the people. So a landlord who throws out a tenant without granting him his statutory rights, which of course, is allowed protection till she goes to court, gets justice in the police station. What does she do? She is a citizen who by herself bribes the police willingly to subvert justice. An average Nigerian gets into trouble, goes and get the police, even when you're wrong, to do something wrong.
For you.
I had to stand for a young man who was locked up in the police station for 5 days when a father kept his own daughter somewhere else and insisted the boy kidnapped them because they were dating. It's in this country that we compromise the institutions. Nigerians compromise the institutions and then claim that the police force is bad.
Okay, let me take
If you don't offer them, how would they take
Larry,
it?
are you there? Thanks for calling.
That's a true part of the story.
Sorry, Larry.
Larry, go ahead, please.
Good morning.
Florence, go ahead.
Lawrence.
Go ahead, please,
Lawrence calling from Ogba.
Go ahead.
Good morning, Lawrence.
Yeah, please, I want to contribute
Go ahead,
to
please.
the police matter. This police we are talking about,
one, the government does not care for the police, and nobody cares for them. If you want to know the condition of the police, just take your time, go to General Hospital and see them there. A police, they will send a policeman to somewhere like Meduguri, Adamawa, those places, and they will not give them, they will not transport them there. They will not give them any kit, nothing. They will use their own money and everything. I live with my uncle in the barrack some time ago. So there is this particular man. He died went on service. The family did not even stay up to 3 months. They ejected them out without paying benefits. And you see, other policemen begin to say, this is the reason why anything I see, anything at all, I have to just do it to make sure I put my family in order in case if there is any problem. If there is anything if anything happens, I will know yes.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
I'm okay.
Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
A Nigeria of my dreams will be somewhere that...
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're still on the case of the police. I know today's Independence Day, and as much as we like to celebrate, we also have to be realistic of what's going on. I always wonder who audits the funds given to the police. Who audits it? Because this P&ID situation really opened my mind to the underdealings that go on with government contracts. The fact that you have to settle people, you have to, who knows who, you have to get a certain amount of money. So once money is disbursed from the purse, how does it come down? So I just wonder who exactly audits how funds are passed from unit to unit and within the police force.
So I know that there's a police service commission, and the duty of the police service commission, of course, is to ensure that emoluments, promotions, and all other benefits of the police are duly given. It
was part of the reform.
Based on merit. It was part of the reforms. Based on merit. They're also sort of in charge of recruitment. But what we see now is that they still recruit from the society. And the standard of recruiting police officers is not right, because when a senator can bring lists, of course, you bring lists of anybody. In those days, when you want to join any of these security agencies, the army included, there's a standard that you must have. You must have a certain height, health, everything that you must, and they will do a background check. A friend of mine is with the police, British Secret Police, and I was screened while I was suspecting, because my name was part of those she dropped as friends from childhood. So I know that they used to do that even in Nigeria when I discussed with my dad. It used to happen, but it no longer happens. I've never heard that there's someone I know gets recruited in police and I was being investigated because of the person's background.
So, why do you have any tweets?
Tweets? Oh. Sorry, I was reading some information I got about the police. So.
Okay. I think that at the end of
before... people are really suffering just because they don't come out to make it public like the policemen. Doesn't mean they are doing fine. Every life should matter. Until then, keep trying. Dolani Robert says, where there's extortion, there's stealing and obtaining under false pretense. They could also be tried for alleged professional misconduct to serve as deterrent to other men and officers of the Nigerian police force.
Let me take Miriam's call. Miriam, thanks for calling. Are you there?
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm here. I'm a first caller.
Welcome to the show. Happy Independence Day.
Same here. Actually, I'm calling concerning the topic you're discussing this morning. But I believe for police officers, they have no reason to do whatever they are doing on the street. Because we look at the Lagos State government, for example, talking about education when it concerns teachers. Before now, teachers do go on to collect things from students. They collect money, collect brooms and stuff.
They still do.
Is that what?
They still do.
They still do.
They still do.
But then, it has come to the minimal level now.
Yes.
Around.
Yes, actually.
Unlike what we do see in those days. Teachers don't go to school, neither do they teach. And what they do most is just collect money from students. But now it has come to the minimum. I think if the police force can also do that, it will actually help the society a lot. Do you understand? Because if we just leave them to assume they are there in their offices doing whatever they can do, the society will not be where we want it to be.
Thank you very much.
I wanted to say about the teachers. I know for a fact that teachers, they still do, in fact, if you don't have your children go to lesson, and they are the owners of the lesson, they are the owners of the lesson, they are not going to teach your child well. Your child will just be failing. True, it is, you see, it is a systematic degradation of the society. From teacher to police to doctor, everywhere. You go to a doctor, and you see, I don't want to, because I'm a product of this environment. You go to a doctor, he will direct you to his private clinic practice, where he will earn more money, rather than teach you in the general hospital.
So it's not just the police.
Yes, it's not just the police. It's a systematic degradation is not the right word. I need the right word. Give me the Oyinbo. Our society is decay. Thank you, my dear. Systematic decay of our society.
Right, gotcha.
From doctor to police to teacher.
So I know whenever we have these discussions concerning police, we tend to pick the faults in them. But for me today, I choose to focus on what the government can do. And as a citizen, let us hold the government accountable to do right by these people, because they're making sacrifices.
I'm tired of that phrase. Let us hold the count, because we've been saying this for a long. How?
We did with SARS. At least people did with SARS. Even if it was just on Twitter, they were able to move it. They still do, but they know that when anything happens, there will be people will look into it.
Unfortunately,
people will make noise. Can we not stop making noise?
Excuse me. The text I was reading, I know you have to run up. Let me just say, the text I was reading was about the retirement benefit of the police as opposed to the military.
Yeah.
It is like this.
Yes, wide apart, miles apart.
Miles apart. Why? Because they know that military, their head can turn and coup can happen.
Coup would happen.
Yeah. So
police, their own is to deal with us.
Which is why
they are dealing with us the way the government likes the way they are dealing with us.
Okay, wait. Let's go on a break. I want us to bring in our guest, because we're supposed to celebrate in Nigeria, but we're going to ask him. We're going to celebrate. We're going to ask him about his thoughts on Nigerian police and security issues we have, and how we can collectively participate in the development of our nation. Can we do that?
Yes, we can.
We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Please call us on 070-80668014. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets.
A departure from core values. We don't really know now what are the values of us as human beings. It looks like everybody is running for his own or her own. Whatever you can make for your family, you'll make it. And it should never be so. Therefore, the starting point is to change. We really need to change, individually, collectively, regardless of your profession. As I sat down there listening to you, I said, oh, this corruption is everywhere. If a woman, a mother, will approach a vice chancellor or a professor or a lecturer and say, well, I want my children to be admitted, and I'm willing to pay anything. I'm willing to energize the process by so and so. It's that bad. There is a need for moral regeneration. It's only when we can do that, and we all now decide that things have run badly in the past, even up to this point. But as from today, this Independence Anniversary Day, let us now change and face the future. That's when we can do it.
Right, Nima.
So, sir, it seems, growing up, I kept hearing that, Nigeria is going to get better. The president's speech this morning also talked about Nigeria being better. But recently, I've been reading a lot about Nigeria and why people should stay back in the country. And I feel that the greater part of Nigeria was in the past.
Yes.
It's almost like this greater Nigeria that we're seeing has already happened.
That's past.
In fact, thank you for taking us there, because actually I've interviewed you before.
Yes.
And I remember part of the information you shared with me was the fact that while you're in public service, during your time,
Yes.
they insisted that you use the public schools
Yes.
for your children.
Yes.
You use the hospitals
Yes.
as a public officer. And so today, we don't see that.
People don't live by example. Once they are in the office, they think they are separate from
everybody
the generality of Nigerians.
And I think that's the big issue.
It's a big issue.
Because they are not connected to the plight of the society,
That's
so
it.
they can't help a problem they are not feeling.
Yes.
But whenever we make this advocacy, many times on the show we've said, oh, they should do our hospital, they should use our schools, they should use this, but it seems it's falling on deaf ears. Mariah said she has given up on saying holding government accountable. But what else can we do as citizens? Because there are many people watching at home now and wondering, okay, so where is this hope? What can we do? How do we hold? What's left for us to do?
You can't protest.
Because if you protest, they say that any free speech that is going, and that's a very loose statement.
Yes.
Yes.
Anything can be connoted to mean you are against the government.
Exactly. Let him respond. Yeah, go ahead.
Please.
So I agree with you. This freedom of speech, yes, we put it in the Constitution to protect all of us. It's a double-edged sword. Some individuals will carry it to an extent that will be so detrimental to the very existence of society. But how do you decide? How do you decide whether the government is acting in favor of the state or in favor of individuals who are holding out these offices? This is the problem that I have. So my solution, and I'm saying it today, our dear General Buhari, you are the father of the nation now. Is the president that must make up his mind that is going to be the leader or the founder of the new Nigeria we're all thinking about. That thing must come from him. And the way he will deploy all the executive powers in his charge. If we continue this way, I believe that ethnicity and favoritism and nepotism are the orders of the day, then we can't get it. This nation has got so much resources, material, human, that if our president wants it to happen, and I believe he can do it.
What would you say, because this particular government, they have zero tolerance for court orders. They do not obey court orders. If you go and get bail, that bail is just for you and the courts.
Your pockets.
In realistic terms, you will still stay in that jail until they are ready to release you. Which way? How do you move forward in that kind of situation?
I agree with you. I don't know. I think they are sending out wrong signals. Maybe they know what we don't know, but at least communicate with us so that we can...
And show us evidence.
Show us evidence.
Nima.
In fact, it's not, besides evidence, we can have a speedy trial. We had one.
Yes.
At the CCB, when it was on August trial, it was the quickest I have seen. Yes. It happened. So it's possible that, we can have a speedy trial with Showore. So we know the facts, because, government might not want to come out to tell us. But when you are able to establish it in court, that this is a clear case, all of us will believe it.
Yes.
So I want you to, let me direct this conversation.
Yes.
I want you to tell us about the good old days. Tell us a bit about that. Maybe it will encourage, because we've been talking about a lot of
Let's put it in perspective. What was it like when we had a foreign policy, as opposed to now that, other countries' foreign policies, of course, to evict us from their countries?
Well, in the past, anytime I say the past, I am thinking of pre-independence and maybe 20 years after independence.
Okay.
Things were not like this. You could walk the streets of your neighborhood and felt that you were very safe. Nothing will happen to you. You can be sure that that elderly man that is going there will look after you as if you were his own child. You could go to school. The post office was working. You put our results were sent to our parents through the post office.
Daddy, thank you about the post office. So there is nothing like post office in Nigeria again.
You put a mail.
Go post your letter.
You put a mail today.
It will enter the nation.
In fact, in some area, the same day it will be delivered. I didn't know anybody in Nsukka, but I went to school in Nsukka. Nothing will happen to us. Everything now has fallen down.
Sir.
And the more states we create, the more
we divide. The more we divide.
So, sir, I didn't have the privilege of knowing that good old days.
Yes.
By the time I was born in the early 80s,
there was no light.
There was no light. There was crisis everywhere. And so I feel like some of our leaders, our parents, had the advantage and they decided to take away that advantage from the next generation. And my concern now is, as a parent, how do I give my children the best that I can within this scope?
Don't blame us. Don't blame the parents.
And that is what is leading a lot of Nigerians. And I've engaged in many people that are relocating. And they say, I want my child to have a better opportunity. I want my child to grow up in a country where you are not worried that they will take light now, and so you're quickly ironing your clothes for the week.
Yes.
You are not calculating the time of the fridge.
It's not about light. It's about education. You go to school, and there's something to do afterwards.
So, sir, the problems of Nigeria is too much. And even me, I'm lost for what would be that one thing we can do. But benefiting from your years of experience, what would you say is the most crucial thing that the government should deal with first? Is it health, education, national orientation? Is it police? Is it judiciary? What exactly should be that one thing that any government should focus on?
All of it. It is moral sincerity. They must be sincere that we're all one. That's one thing.
Sincerity.
If you want to play a zero-sum game, as we call it in mathematics, that is, you win all the time, then things will not move forward. They must, when I say they, I'm talking of the leadership. But mind you, you can't have leaders without followers. The followers are also very, very corrupt. You have given an example here.
Yes.
A lady who is in a better position economically, and she knows that she's wrong, but advancing some largesse to the police to obliterate the facts or to change the facts. So, I don't want to say we have to...
Professor, let me take this to this angle, because we blame governments a lot, but I think one of the things the leaders forget to realize is that Nigerians lack trust. There's lack of trust on the part of the government.
Yes.
And I think for us to even pay taxes, for us to begin to do what you want us to do, show us that you're sincere.
That's it.
Begin to adjust everything from the top. That exemplary leadership that you talked about earlier. So if we have leaders who actually lead exemplary, hopefully the people will begin to start to trickle down, and people now realize they are sincere. Hopefully that could change our
That
nation.
was what was happening in the past. Believe me. Go and check the archives or the pictures of the past. You will see local materials on them. You will see how they were eating. Not all this excessive consumption, the kind that people will begin to feel that, am I a human being?
When I'm not able to do the same.
I'm happy you brought this up, because I was listening to the show yesterday and they were talking about the lazy youth. And I was thinking, this lazy youth that they're talking about is not from them, it's from our teachers. Yes. Our teachers are the rulers. Yes. The rulers, when I see the lazy rulers, I will be a lazy youth.
Yes.
Because if I see you are making money and I don't see what you are doing, how you make that money.
No industry, nothing. You are not.
You have money, and then you are telling me that I should work.
So the youth are mirroring what they see.
Exactly.
What they say. Therefore, as a teacher, the way we are going to change, and it's not going to happen.
Sir, if you are a teacher, I'm sorry, sir,
yes.
but I mean, you are well dressed and everything,
yes.
but I can see you don't have money.
Big money.
I don't have big money, oh.
I'm not even sure you are collecting your pension.
It's old money. It's old money.
Let me finish. I'm not even sure you are collecting pension. You have dedicated your life to educating the youth.
Yes.
And look at you today. Yes. There is nothing to show for it.
No, there is a lot to show for it. No,
many children whose lives are better.
I'm talking of financial remuneration now.
Let's define success. I think Nima said a few weeks ago.
Success is not financial.
Excuse me.
Let's define the success.
But let me just
not financially.
He shouldn't be comfortable. He shouldn't be comfortable.
What is really painful to me as a parent and as somebody who has served, and I did it honestly, selflessly. The idea of my own children now finding solace in foreign country. You parents out there, is that why you trained your children? Did we train them to be the best in Norway or the best in China? We trained them to be in this nation.
Sir.
But for some reason, the ruling people, the elite, and it cuts across the ethnicity, they have formed that clique.
Sir, let me ask quickly.
Yes.
We all agree that there's a problem on ground.
Yes.
But a man does not become rich by squatting. He becomes rich by building.
Yes.
The country right now is nothing at all. But he needs people to put their hands together to rebuild. And everybody is looking at running out and building from outside. How is that ever possible?
It's not going to be possible.
You see, that's why I always remember this story by Femi Falana.
Yes.
All his children went to school here. They were raised here. And they're all working here. This is a man that leads by example. Many of us just play lip service to this issue of nationhood.
Yes.
But the truth is that we all carry our bags and go.
But Mariah, in quick addition to that, so it will bring us to the values we are raising our children with from the house. I had a discussion with a woman, and she was telling me that she and her husband are facing hard times, and how the first daughter has left the house for over a year. And I said, do you keep in touch with her? I said, she calls usually to ask, are my parents working now? Are you people eating now? If you're not eating, I'm not coming home. Oh, God. She was saying it and she was moved to tears. Then she now said the second child was also now asking her that, Mommy, maybe I should join Yahoo so that maybe we'll have money. So in my head, I listened to her. I didn't say anything, but I just kept thinking, what values did you use to raise these children that their options are this? Because if I was in that situation with my parents and I was young, my option would have been, let's go and sell pure water. Let's go and sell, because we need to put in our children the value for hard work in a way that will supersede what they see outside in our leaders. How do we tell those parents now to deal with situations like this where they are facing hard times, their income can't feed them, and they have children to take care of?
What are you saying? Parents go is depressed.
Okay, let's give hope.
I'm telling you, look, let us be factual. Sorry, sir. Let us be factual. If I'm a parent and I cannot afford to eat 3 square meals a day to fund my life, I am a depressed parent. I will transfer that depression to my children.
Right. So I'd like you to respond to what Topo had said.
I was going to say that, quite frankly, I believe that after independence, the second generation of parents twisted things. We got it upside down by overcompensating. We suffered. Sitting down now, facing the public, it wasn't a shame. I had to hawk things for my parents on Lagos Island. But that they were not using it to punish me, but we were as a contribution, and at the same time learning some kind of responsible values and behavior.
But the children did do
But
that.
now we overcompensated. We built houses, and we allocate one room for Dupe, another one for Tunde, and all this stuff. Yes. We have gone through tribulations, but it doesn't mean that we should overcompensate. That's what we have done. And our parents and our children now are thinking, well, entitled to...
So I would like you to touch on this issue of federal character. Because people talk about the fact that that's probably one of the issues we have, where it's all about, represent this part, represent this part. It's not about competence and getting the best man for the job. What are your thoughts? How deep has federal character?
Thank you for saying it. Federal character was part of that constitution I told you before that we put together under General Babangida. That section was put there to protect every community, every area of Nigeria, such that they don't feel left out.
Okay.
But the way it has been implemented, we didn't think that you just do federal character without merit or without qualification. The way it's being done now is just to put anybody there, as long as it's representing Zone A, for example. And apart from that, those who are in power can also give federal character implementation by being discriminatory. All the choice areas of job you give to one, as long as you say you're federal character, you be the messenger. You are represented there. That was not the spirit.
So we still distorted the spirit, the agenda.
That's why I'm saying we still have to define our identity as a nation.
Do you think we need a constitutional review? Because you're part of those that drafted.
There's so many things there that are wrong. So many that are wrong. For example, I would want to say that state of origin should never have been put in there. And I don't mean to be immodest. When in 1988-89, we were in that Constitutional Assembly under General Babangida, before the main assembly, caucuses will meet, our progressive caucus and so on. I was one of those who are pushing that we didn't need state of origin. State of origin inclusion in that constitution had created so much problem, divisions among citizens and of the same nation. State of residence would have been better. Yes, some states will suffer, just like Lagos State, but who knows? In future, maybe Mambila Plateau will be the next place that we will all be running to, or Port Harcourt. So, federal character was put there to protect, to give everybody state of belonging.
Now manipulated.
But it has been manipulated, turned upside down. Look at the quota system. Look at the quota system. I am from mainly educational profession. You send kids to take exam, a very good examination. You expect them to score 50%. And now you turn it around when it comes to selection. You set cut-off points.
Varied cut-off points.
You talked about Queen's College now. Somebody from the East or from Middlebelt may score 280, and you have somebody with 60, and you will bring that person. We are killing the system. Right. Those young people who scored higher points will be saying, well, it doesn't matter. I don't need to be blind.
Or that person, the first opportunity I get to leave this country,
Why has taken me back to where I'm going? Most people who leave this country, do you agree that they want to come back home?
Yes.
Some people go maybe for education. Some people go to make money and come back to invest. And everybody is looking to come back with whatever
but what are they coming back to?
As long as we are living it,
we're destroying.
We really have nothing to come back to. Maybe we should start to stay within and start to rebuild rather than continue to look out to go.
Do you rebuild on sand?
Who else will rebuild?
If there is no concrete foundation, what do you want to build?
We will build the foundation.
May I quickly say this, Waki? May I quickly say this, Waki?
No, I'm just saying my own.
Your house is bought. You are squatting with your neighbor. You don't ever become a rich man by squatting with your neighbor. You have to come back home and clear the hashes and rebuild.
Right, but can they come back? This is the point. They have gone out. They've learned some very new cultures, esoteric methods. They are thinking faster than the majority of us here. This is home.
All right, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue that conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Yes.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Let's look at this. We went to the streets and asked Nigerians their thoughts about the country. Watch this.
dreams will be somewhere that I don't have to worry about my children's future. I think that's my major issue right now. I have about 4 nephews, and I'm wondering, I'm always scared how these kids will turn out later on in life. So Nigeria of my dreams will be a Nigeria that can adequately secure the future of our kids. We're not afraid of having our children here. We're not afraid of nurturing our children here. We're not afraid of calling this place home, even for our kids. Yeah, that'll be a Nigeria of my dreams.
Nigeria of my dream is to see Nigeria, to see every basic things that I see each time I get out of Nigeria to Europe, to America, to Western world. But for as long as we continue to run the way we're running, education is being dealt with, health is being ignored, we will continue to remain in poverty as a nation. However, if government can refocus and rechannel our resources to education and health, they will reduce the amount of miscreants that are on the road. They will also reduce the amount of people that are actually looking onto government for handouts. And then people can begin to get empowered and then create economic value around themselves.
Nigeria that is more of people-oriented, beyond leadership in the so-called of our leaders. We have leaders, but a leadership which is given to more works than more work, less talk. Action-driven nation in terms of every part of our parastatals. That is the Nigeria of the dream. Nigeria where everybody can boldly say that we are productive. In Nigeria where everybody can say that we are secured. In Nigeria where the rights of the people are protected and recognized. In Nigeria where the leaders are not the one being celebrated. Though they have to be celebrated for their achievement and the good works, but they should celebrate the people who need the actual part of being improved. If you have a society of Nigeria where we will have people in their own way independent, because celebration of independence is beyond celebrating a nation. And what are we to even celebrate as achievements as a nation? So the Nigeria of the dream is a Nigeria where we celebrate the actual thing of development of a nation beyond.
You know, I went to an event not too long ago and I was seeing some children and they were recording kids and they were saying, I'm proudly Nigerian, I love Nigeria. And I was just looking at them with such pity. Like, as much as I appreciate, I just hope Nigeria is proud of you. Yes. I hope Nigeria would give you everything you need to build on this energy you already exist at a young age. So there's that fear. Every parent's fear is, can my child live in this country?
Would they thrive?
Can I talk? Because apart from my dear daddy here, the three of you didn't grow up in the Nigeria that I grew up in. In Nigeria that I grew up, when NEPA takes light, you can actually go to NEPA office and say, please, you have taken my light. They say, okay, we'll bring back light in 1 hour. In daddy's time, they didn't used to take the lights. In my own time, they used to take light, but they will bring it back. When they take lights, we all shout, hey, NEPA. When they bring it back, we say, hey! That was the Nigeria I grew up in. We had nice ice cream. We had places to go. Children, we slept. Our walls were this high. All our walls.
Sleep outside.
Now we have gigantic walls. We don't know our neighbors. In where I grew up with, everybody, you knew your neighbor.
That's it.
You don't know your neighbor now. That's the Nigeria I grew up in. And the Nigeria that I see today is like this. They are wide apart. So if you cannot blame a person like me if I am pessimistic.
You know, YK, I came back yesterday and I was talking about my experience at Nigeria Branch Trade Fair, and because I saw businesses, people were saying in one day how one lady met me yesterday and was saying that I started my business 3 months ago and I came for this fair. I've never made 500,000 naira in my life and I made it in one day coming to this fair. People that made 2 million. Then I interviewed the owner of Health Plus, Buki George, and she was talking about how they got the funding last year to expand into 200 branches. And I look at these people and I say, this is the same Nigeria people are checking out from. This is Nigeria where somebody is planting branches everywhere, providing health needs for people. This is Nigeria where people are expanding their businesses and going to import goods to better the lives. There is hope here.
Import.
Yes, we
might
be importing for a while. It's the same Nigeria where some people have taken out their jobs from being in the banking sector and they've gone into agric. I have friends that have left Lagos and relocated to Ogbomoso and they're doing agric and bringing egg.
The issue of agric, because I know you're very passionate about agric. Yes. I'll come to that, but let me take this call first. Good morning, are you there?
Yeah, good morning.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, thank you so much for this program you put on. It's a really nice program.
Go ahead.
Yeah. You see, let me say thanks to Baba that is sitting there. He made a statement that our government know what to do if they want to do something. You need to come out on the street of Lagos and see how people are suffering. People
everywhere
are really, really suffering. You see people going out of the country to work out, to do business there. You know, some of them going there, don't even, not that they enjoy the life they are living, but they prefer to stay there than to be here and work. Do you know you've been in Western world? You will not be working, in as much as you're a citizen, and you're doing what you're supposed to do, you will not be working, and government have what they pay you. Here you work your life. You wake up 4 a.m., go back to your house at 11, 12.
Thank you.
Yes, you cannot eat your 3 square meals.
Thank you very much, Tolu. Before we run off, I'll come to you, Nima. Let's go to agric for a second, because I know you're very passionate about the issue of agric. Yes. In your view, what the government is doing concerning agric, is it something that we should support? Do you agree? Because they know they wanted to bring in Ruga. Everybody shouted. Now it's not the National Transformation, I think, Livestock Transformation, NLTP. And in your view, what's the agricultural sector, how is it going to help us?
There is no nation that can develop without producing internally food security. And agric is an area that virtually we can double the income that we have now, even from the petroleum resources. I want to start from what Dr. Additional, the guy who is now the Director General of African Development Bank. He did a lot of work under the last regime.
Yes.
I hope they are looking at it and not just throwing everything out. And if we can take off from there and come to the present government, they are talking about Ruga and all that. Yes, it's good. That program is not being sold properly to the citizens of this nation. But agric provides one of the easiest solutions to these economic problems that we have.
Thank you, sir.
With agric, you can export. There is groundnut. You can export groundnut. Before oil, we were exporting groundnut. We were exporting our... Look, we have mineral resources. We have value... what is this thing that people wear on the body?
Jewelry.
Not jewelry, gems.
Stones.
Oh, yeah.
Stones. Yes. We have so much, but we are not exploring these things. We're not exploring... It's Chinese that are coming to exploit it.
So let's talk about how we got here, because at some point I'm going to blame YK's generation.
We don't have time, we need to...
Shut up your mouth.
Hold on a minute. Why can you keep interrupting me? Now, we shut our borders and people are screaming. But we have a parasitic nation beside us, producing nothing, importing everything, and here is the market.
Yes.
And we're afraid to face that. There's also the issue of YK's generation assessing scholarship to go abroad to study and refusing to come back to use the knowledge to grow here. So that we had politicians who were not as educated as we would want, leading us till we got here now and got democracy back in 1999. How did we get here? And these people that are refusing to take responsibility. Why do we as Nigerians, try to jump issues? When we see our issues, we don't assess, discuss issues, review issues properly so that we have proper solutions.
Well, I agree with you.
No.
Yes.
What is generation?
No, it's not your generation. But I agree that Nigerians don't want to accept responsibility. You must be willing. It's an aspect of a gentleman, of any person who is cultured.
Accept fault.
You must accept fault. You must be willing to accept the consequences of your action. But here, we don't want it.
So, sir, you saying it's our generation again?
No, your generation.
There is hope in this country.
There is hope.
We have hope, and there are opportunities. We have hope, and there are opportunities
to head somewhere because they have to round up.
Yes.
So I want you to give go ahead.
Now, people, particularly young ones who are now running away from the farmlands of Ede, Bomosho, Abekuta, to come to town and be wearing jeans and riding Okada or laying about so that your cousin or your uncle can give you some 500 naira. Agric is where they can go back to. Now that the border, thank you, the border has been shut. For those who are smart
This is going to
meet the need.
still have the energy, this is the time to bridge the gap. Go in there and do something. Well, I have known people who have come to me, we want to do it, but how do we get help? Who is going to do so? The policy somersault that we have witnessed in the past, and I hope that will be done with, so that when you have a consistent application of a good policy, people will stay in there. You cannot say, go and grow rice now, and then suddenly you open the border again, and all these foreign things will flush into here.
Excuse me, sir, if I'm Nigeria, for instance, and I start growing rice, and I make sure that I flood the market with my rice. And when I say flood, that it is so cheap that rice is 9,000, rice is 5,000 for a bag. I will not go and import rice because it will not pay me, because nobody's going to buy my rice at 17 or 18.
That wouldn't happen.
Nigerians have, I don't know who, the culture of this, or the psychology of these Nigerians. They will prefer that imported one to what is grown here.
I can assure you that if Nigerian rice is 5,000 and imported rice is 15.
It's not 5,000. You know why? Because the factors that help you to grow that rice itself is
power. It's the quality. So what you get from the imported rice you get from Cotonou.
I'm trying to make a point. Nima, Nigerians must understand that we're going to go through this process for a while. If our own is going to be more expensive, for now, that's what you must buy. At least for us to grow this economy. Don't keep insisting.
10,000 minimum wage even.
Okay, why can't
buy the cheaper?
Unfortunately, thank you very much, Prof.
30,000.
We have to round up. We have to round up, sir.
It doesn't come.
That's all we can take, Sam. Unfortunately, we run out.
Your generation is not giving us hope, and you are sitting down here. You're not giving the people watching hope.
Have a fabulous day. We'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is our live audience day. Take care then. Bye bye.